Good morning, everyone. Welcome our overseas guests. And as Suan said already, we've got lots of people from all over the world. Thank you for traveling here to support us, whether you're a speaker or a delegate. And thank you for our local friends from Singapore and the region that have come in. We have a wonderful two-day program, which I'm incredibly excited about in terms of the content and the opportunities of the things we're going to have to discuss. Delighted that we have 60 speakers from all over the world, from both within the industry and outside the industry. And I think that's one of the things that we've tried to focus on here is the opportunity for mass participation to learn from other industries, and hopefully the opportunity for mass participation to share some of our secrets and knowledge with people in other industries. We have, as Suan has already mentioned, TCS as one of our partners. We've created a TCS Speakers Corner. Sometimes maybe a little shy to put your hand up in the plenary to ask a question, or would like to have a bit of a one-on-one with the speakers. We've asked our speakers to spend some time in Speakers Corner after they've presented, which is out the back of the room that way. So if you would like to go and have a conversation, please, I would really encourage you to go and do that. A big thank you to our sponsors, and I'm going to quickly read them through. All the logos are here, but obviously without their support, and particularly government support, Mr. Lim Tek Yin here, who's going to be delivering the the opening address shortly. Thank you, Sports SG, Singapore Tourism Board, MyLaps and ASICS, TCS, Tata Consulting Services, and not only as part of their partnership, absolutely delighted to have their global head of sports sponsorship, Michelle, who's flown in to share with us a case study along with Sean this afternoon. Pick to Go, and you'll hear more about the opportunity to have your photos taken. Make sure when you're in a photo, there's a great little barcode on here. And Eitan, great to have you here all the way from Israel, sharing that. Full Circle PR, SportCal, Active, Running USA, and we'll be hearing from Rich Harshberger, the CEO of Running USA. Collaboratively, we've done the first Asian runner survey, which we'll be sharing the results of later today. Townscript and this wonderful venue here, the Hilton Hotel, and thank you, Peter, and your staff for your great support. I was talking last night at the speaker welcome drinks with Paul Sinton-Hewitt, who's our opening keynote today, the founder of Parkrun, a increasingly growing global phenomenon. And we were both discussing how incredibly lucky we are in this industry to be able to impact the lives of people. And I think it's one of the biggest buzzes that I get is when I get stopped in the street by someone who says, "Thank you for changing my life as a result of you getting me into a running event or a cycling event. I'm a completely different person." I think it is beyond even getting people active. It's sometimes teaching them new skills. The week before last, I was at a conference at Mission Hills in China, called Sports Connects China, and David Yang, the CEO of Wanda Sport, was one of the speakers, and he shared one of the great opportunities that bringing Ironman to Asia has created, and one of the challenges, and that is that most people in China don't know how to swim like this, freestyle. So to get people into participating in triathlons, they've been giving swimming lessons, teaching people to swim freestyle. What a great life skill our sport is able to give to people, and there are many more opportunities like that. I think there's no doubt it's regularly documented the global health issues we have, increasing obesity, mental health issues. I think the fragmentation sometimes of families, the impact that devices is having on people's lives. And I believe our industry has a massive opportunity to help address that. And I see increasingly, and was talking to Tek Yin a little bit before we came on stage here, about the opportunity to bring communities together, not just to run the Singapore Marathon on Sunday and then go away and do your own thing, but to be part of a community that's active on an ongoing basis, that's engaging with people within the workplace and within the community. Sport is such a great leveler that the CEO and the person that is a clerical person or runs the tea room, the elite athlete and the recreational athlete all run on the same course, and it's a level playing field. A great opportunity for team building, engagement, and all those different great elements of it. And I'm beginning to see, I think, governments taking more attention to the opportunity that mass and sport in general can pay to that, and certainly Singapore is a great example of that. Can I see a show of hands for those of you that participated in the Standard Chartered Singapore Marathon over the weekend? Okay, there's a fair smattering of you, and hopefully it'll be more by the time we're here next year. I was talking to Mo last night, and great experience, but the heat was pretty brutal, wasn't it? Congratulations on completing. I read an interesting article in Bloomberg a couple of days ago where Alibaba has publicly stated that they are using marathons as a test for their data strategy. So massive brand, not only in China but global, is starting to pay attention to marathon and mass participation as an opportunity from a business perspective, and I'm starting to see more of that starting to happen from a brand perspective. But I think there's a long way to go in terms of educating brands of the benefits, and I think you'll hear more of that in the TCS case study later today. I think the opportunity to engage, for my mind, is probably one of the biggest opportunities within our industry. I've lost count of how many times I get the generic email, "Dear Chris, entries for the race have opened. Here are the details. Please sign up." I'm not sure that it's that hard to send me a, "Dear Chris, congratulations. Last year you ran the half marathon in 2 hours and 5 minutes, and maybe there's an opportunity for you to reduce your time under 2 hours, and here's a code for a discount, and here's a photo of you crossing the finish line." And some people are doing that, and increasingly it's being done well, and we'll hear more of that. But I think I see people in this industry going and spending a bunch of money over here, sometimes in traditional media, newspaper ads and TV ads, and in the digital space, trying to acquire a bunch of new participants when they've got thousands, tens and thousands of them, in cases even more than that they're barely even speaking to. Run the marathon, thanks for entering, here's some information, thanks for running, and then we don't talk to you for another 6 months until we start the same process again. And again, I reiterate what I say earlier, I think this sport more than many, this space more than many has the opportunity to really create the ongoing engagement. From an evolution perspective, there's no doubt that the industry is evolving, and in parts of Asia, it's evolving at breakneck speed from a growth perspective. I'm not certain how much it's evolving in terms of a quality of delivery, engagement, and so on. Certainly there's some, and there was a great example yesterday of raising the bar in terms of the things that we saw at the Standard Chartered Marathon in terms of the new initiatives that had been put in place. But I think there are still many people that are in a kind of cottage industry space which need the opportunity to learn, and that's part of what the Mass Participation Asia platform is about, is bringing some of the newer players into the industry together. But the numbers are phenomenal. On a panel that I hosted at that conference in Shenzhen at Mission Hills was a panel called Mass Participation Matters. And we had some statistics from MyLabs. In China, in 2011, there were 22 marathons. Last year, there were 1,300. I hear stories of 1,200 running events in Thailand, 1,000 running events in Malaysia. And these are all kind of anecdotal. There's not any real solid data. And as I said, we're very excited to start sharing some of that data. And I think data has a great role to play in terms of the evolution of the industry. We have, I think, 36 sessions over the next 2 days. Some of those panels, some of those interviews, some of them keynotes. It's a fairly tight schedule, so I'd ask you please to help us out in terms of trying to get back into the room as quickly as possible so we can keep the session running on time. I hope there's going to be great opportunities for interaction, both in the breakouts and within the room. Encourage you to answer questions, encourage you to spend time in the TCS Speaker Corner meeting some of our speakers, and obviously hopefully having a great time in Singapore. I've heard so many great stories of visitors for the first time. It's a wonderful city. We'll be playing some videos during some of the breaks which might show some of the highlights of Singapore that you haven't seen already, courtesy of STB. Try and get out there, enjoy it. It's an absolutely beautiful city, and hopefully you have a great time on an enjoyment level and a learning level. Thank you very much again for your support.